Have you ever wondered what actually happens in the dark? Like, when you close your eyes, you probably think you're just shutting down, right? Pausing your life until the sun comes up. But actually, you aren't powering down at all. You are logging in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the source material that decodes the invisible biological forces shaping human life. We aren't just going to rattle off isolated health facts here. We're going to decode the hidden operating system that governs your energy, your emotions, your aging, and literally your very survival.
To start, we really need to completely dismantle how we think about fatigue. Most of us just treat tiredness as a simple lack of energy, like a car running out of gas. But scientifically, that is entirely backward. Tiredness is not a passive state. It is a highly active, systemic biological alarm. Your body is sending this profound distress signal from deep within your cellular architecture, practically demanding that you pay attention to the systems keeping you alive.
Section 1. The hidden biological alarm. So, to truly understand this alarm, we have to stop viewing the human body as just a collection of separate organs. Instead, think of it as one beautifully interconnected machine. And the master switch governing this entire network? It's sleep. Think of your brain and your immune system as two highly classified supercomputers in constant bidirectional communication. This is what we call your neuroimmune interaction. Even when you're completely unconscious, they are exchanging rapid-fire data. When this interaction gets disrupted by a lack of sleep, that communication breaks down. The entire body falls out of sync. It's quite literally a software glitch in your biology, and the consequences ripple through every single system you have.
Section 2. The inflammatory cascade.
To see this glitch in action, let's travel down to layer 1 of our biological tour, the bloodstream. Deep within your cells, a silent microscopic storm actually begins to brew the very moment you restrict your sleep. Enter interleukin-6, or IL-6. It's a pro-inflammatory cytokine, basically a master regulator. In a normal, healthy cycle, your IL-6 levels naturally drop at night. But when you endure persistent sleep restriction, well, that normal nocturnal decline gets delayed. Your body remains flooded with IL-6, keeping you locked in a state of chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation. Your immune system literally believes it's under attack, simply because you are awake.
And the contrast in the data is just stark. After a few nights of partial sleep deprivation, we're talking about getting maybe 4.3 hours of sleep, the blood becomes completely saturated with these inflammatory biomarkers, IL-6 and C-reactive protein. And hey, this isn't just about feeling groggy the next day. This systemic inflammation is a silent driver of biological aging. It actively accelerates cardiovascular risk, shortens your telomeres, and triggers cellular senescence.
Section 3. Metabolic chaos in tissues. Okay, so your bloodstream is flooded with inflammatory signals. But where do they actually go? Let's move down to layer 2, the cellular level, to investigate exactly what this inflammatory cascade does to our physical tissues. Now, we tend to think of fat as just, storage, inert and unchanging. But your fat cells are highly sensitive living tissues that desperately need sleep just as much as your brain does. So what actually happens to them when you lose 4 hours of sleep for just a few nights?
The crucial takeaway here comes down to one staggering number: 30%. A really groundbreaking study out of the University of Chicago took young, lean, healthy individuals and restricted their sleep to 4.5 hours for just 4 consecutive nights. The result? A massive 30% reduction in cellular insulin sensitivity. Let that sink in. Their fat cells literally stopped responding to insulin properly.
This is a profound revelation. We're looking at a molecular defect at the cellular level caused solely by sleep restriction. And the crazy part? It happens entirely independently of how healthy you are or how well you eat. You absolutely cannot out-eat or out-train terrible sleep. The fat cells just become metabolically resistant. This reveals an implication that completely changes how we should understand our own health. Adequate sleep is just as critical to metabolic health and preventing conditions like type 2 diabetes and obesity as your diet and your exercise routine. No question about it.
Section 4. Neuroinflammation and the brain.
Now, we have to ascend to layer 3, the command center itself. We're going right into the brain to witness a process that is just awe-inspiring in its biological power. The brain has its own aggressive, highly localized immune response called neuroinflammation. When your sleep is fragmented, the brain perceives this as a legitimate tissue threat. It deploys its defense forces, these specialized cells called astrocytes and microglia. But here's the tragic irony. In attempting to protect your brain from the stress of sleep loss, these overactive defense cells can actually begin to cause collateral damage. Think of this almost like a forensic analysis of a crime scene inside your head. When sleep is disrupted, pro-inflammatory cytokines spike. This activates those microglia we just talked about and triggers astrogliosis, which is essentially the formation of a glial scar. Crucially, this neuroinflammatory state upregulates the exact enzymes that produce amyloid beta and tau proteins, while the transporters that normally clear them out are totally suppressed. What we're seeing is an objective acceleration of the exact molecular hallmarks associated with cognitive decline, and it's unfolding night after night.
And this brilliantly illustrates the protective miracle of deep sleep. During normal deep sleep, your body activates the glymphatic system. Think of it as a biological washing machine that literally flushes metabolic waste and neurotoxins right out of the brain. But with sleep deprivation, you get glymphatic failure. The washing machine breaks down entirely. Surprisingly, without deep sleep, the brain essentially begins to suffocate in its own metabolic exhaust.
Section 5. The gut microbiome connection.
Let's travel down again, this time to layer 4, right into your digestive tract. This is where the sheer interconnectedness of the human operating system just becomes staggering. We're unveiling an unexpected relationship between your brain's sleep centers and the trillions of bacteria living in your gut. As it turns out, sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired. It literally alters the composition, the diversity, and the abundance of your intestinal microbes. Your gut microbiome and your sleep architecture communicate directly through those very same inflammatory pathways we discussed earlier. Bad sleep physically changes your gut flora.
We call this mechanism the gut inflammation axis. First, sleep loss induces physiological stress. Second, this stress drops your levels of melatonin, which is actually what usually protects your gut lining. Third, your immune tolerance falls and your gut bacteria completely destabilize. And finally, gastrointestinal inflammation spikes. This tells us something monumental, doesn't it? Sleep isn't just a brain phenomenon. It is absolutely central to protecting multiple organ systems, dictating everything from your digestive health to your cognitive memory, all mediated by your internal bacteria.
Section 6. The ultimate operating system.
We've explored the blood, the fat cells, the brain, and the gut. Now, let's pull back to view the entire human machine not as isolated parts, but as one beautifully synchronized, universally connected network. If you take away just one realization from this explainer today, let it be this irrefutable scientific truth from the journal Nature Immunology. Sleep regulates innate immunity. Sleep is not passive rest. It is active, profound immune programming. It's the time when your body heals, recalibrates, and writes the code that will dictate your health for the following day.
But there is a bidirectional loop here that you absolutely must be aware of. Poor sleep causes the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. This causes neural inflammation, heightens your sensitivity to pain, and creates systemic stress. And what does that inflammation do? It chemically degrades your ability to achieve deep, restorative sleep the next night. It's a vicious biological feedback loop. But the beauty is, once you understand it, you can take control. By prioritizing rest, you flip this mechanism into an upward spiral toward real biological resilience and longevity.
We have decoded the mechanism beneath the mechanism. You now see the invisible forces shaping your resilience, your aging, and your mind. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Tonight, when your head hits the pillow and the lights go out, are you just resting, or are you actively reprogramming your biological operating system for the rest of your life? The choice and the profound power of sleep is entirely yours.